Hey guys, Pieguyrulz here, and as most of you know, when I started doing this silly little critiquing of kids' networks, I was equally disgusted by the practices of Cartoon Network and Nick. As time went on, however, Cartoon Network started to get better. It cut most of its live-action shows, signed on a few interesting experimental cartoons, and changed its image. So, although I can still call it out for crap like Problem Solvers and Incredible Crew, on the whole, I'm proud of how the network has grown from its slump. Nickelodeon, on the other hand, is still stuck in the same rut it's been since I first started on YouTube. Yes, they've done a few good things, like The Legend of Korra, and still continuing the Kids' Choice Awards, but on the whole, I've been a lot more critical and down on Nick than Cartoon Network. One day I got a comment asking me what could Nick do that would actually make me happy. The comment was months ago, but I've been thinking about it a lot. I believe I finally have an answer. Here's how I would fix Nickelodeon, and keep in mind, I'm only going to suggest things that would be actually possible for Nick itself to do. I'm not going to say things like, ooh, let's create this super show that's a crossover between every Nickelodeon show ever and make it awesome, blah blah blah. No, we're going to work within the boundaries of what Nickelodeon could potentially do, or at least what I think they would be able to do. So, firstly, I would cancel SpongeBob, but only after the second movie. If the plug is pulled too soon, Nick will have no legs to stand on. So, give SpongeBob an end date, and stick to it this time, Nickelodeon. So, with the end date for SpongeBob firmly in place, I would start a massive talent search for new cartoonists and creators to bring to the network. Fresh new people and ideas for shows. Maybe even bring back Oh Yeah Cartoons yet again to have a testing ground. Heck, it would be amazing if Nickelodeon would even allow kids to vote on which pilot would get a series, like, saying Cartoon Network did a long time ago and no one else has done since. I know putting the power in the people's hands can be risky at times, but most often people know what they want. The shows that I would look for in creators would be the ones that were different and had their own specific style, and definitely only pick animated ones that aren't computer generated. And the reason for that is that I would keep the 3 DreamWorks shows. You already have them, you might as well use them. But I would put them in their own block, which airs back-to-back new episodes on, like, Thursday nights or Friday nights or something. And in between the block, I would find a way to promote new DreamWorks movies, like show exclusive clips or something like that. That way you get cross-promotion between the 3 DreamWorks shows and DreamWorks movie. And then bam, you have a promotional thing with DreamWorks where you get kids to get interested in new DreamWorks movies, and you have a nice, solid way to promote your 3 shows that have one major thing in common. I would also give the creators of Avatar free reign on Korra with as many seasons as they would like, and tell them that up front so that they know exactly how much time they have to work with. A lot of people were disappointed that Avatar The Last Airbender ended after the 3rd season. I was happy because that's the amount of seasons that they planned on having. They planned and paced out the story to have 3 acts. If Nickelodeon decides that they want to cancel Korra after 2 seasons, well, then they have to plan for that and decide that they need to make something suitable enough for a finale in season 2, yet potentially not the entire series finale. But if you gave them free reign and told them, well, you can have anywhere from up to 5 seasons, but don't feel like you're obligated to, and I don't necessarily know how easily this would be able to do in television, but if you gave them some sort of free reign and a little bit more control over how long their series is, and the possibility of another spin-off if they wish, I think that would be awesome, and that would be really good for the fans. The fans would definitely appreciate that, and that way they ensure that they have one stable show on the network that kids will love, even if it's not super cartoony like The Sponge. Also, there's going to be a cap on how many times an episodes of a single show can air on a normal weekday. That's right, no more 12-episode marathons of SpongeBob or iCarly or anything. There will be a limit, maybe 3 episodes a day, maybe 4. Who knows how many that is? I have to see how long Nickelodeon's block is in the day, but definitely put a cap on it, man. Don't have ridiculous amounts of marathons every single day. Now, for the live-action stuff, similarly to the cartoons, I would search for some new talent, and limit Dan Schneider to just 1 show at a time, because he is a staple of the network, and I would hate to see him go, but at the same time, he's been a bit overused recently. Let's just put it that way. I would also try to maybe get a few Nick alum to come back and be like the parents on a new show or something like that. Maybe like Melissa Joan Hart or Kenan Thompson. Definitely not Amanda Bynes after what's been happening. But I think that would be a neat idea, because Nickelodeon has been a lot about its alumni, a lot like Disney. But it'd be cool to see a few of them put together in one series where they're the parents to a new generation of Nickelodeon stars. Also, make sure to have at least one show, one live-action show, starring typical kids who don't get famous, don't get popular, but get into weird situations nonetheless. And that's about all I got. Really, Nick's biggest problem is that it's afraid to experiment. It still clings to its same creators it had for years, when it really needs some fresh faces and companies. With a few simple policies in place, like the limit on how many episodes of a single show could air in one day, I think Nickelodeon could be on a good path for the future. Also, please change the logo back to some form of splat and make the interstitials interesting again. Looking back at some of these weird, bizarre 90s commercials for Nickelodeon, and seeing that they're all in different forms of animation, stop motion, some weird looking CGI, live action, all sorts of crazy stuff, and then Nick, seeing it now, it just seems so boring. Give your interstitials some energy again, will you? Alright, well that's about all I have, and remember, these are just my opinions. There's no guarantee that any of this would actually work, or I guess would actually be feasible for Nickelodeon. It's just what I would do if I could. On one last note, the college that I'm looking into has a pretty nice connection with MTV, and I would potentially be able to get some kind of an internship there. Maybe getting coffee for someone around some studio somewhere. But hey, maybe someday, guys. Maybe someday. Well, leave some comments if you have any better suggestions or what you think of my suggestions. And with that, Pieguyrulz out. Hey guys, don't forget to subscribe if you like me, like this video if you, well, like this video, and comment if you have an opinion on anything that I just said. Oh, and I also have a Twitter. Follow me at Pieguyrulz. I usually respond to any comments or questions that I get. Pieguyrulz, out.